You may want to call them scramble solutions if you will. I'm going to call them bullshit remedies. So your character needs at least one bullshit remedy to survive in this game. Number 2, the topic we're going to be covering, basic combo structure. And number 3 we're going to be talking about is the general game plan for that character, or at least what I think is what the character should be doing. Number 1, the bullshit remedies that you need. In this game, there's a lot of scrambling. There's a lot of characters who just have way too much priority with their light attacks, and it's just hard to really do much of anything. So your character needs a solution to handle the bullshit. For Kathy, this is her solution right here. This is one of her solutions. Jump, square. I'm gonna just call it the counter button. Jump, counter. Okay, so if you look at the meter, 32%, costs 10% meter each time you do it. You can still do it when you don't have meter. That's one of your bullshit remedies right there. If you pause it, I think it's easy to see why. That green box is your armor, so that move will class when something hits to the green area. The red part is the hit box, right? And the blue boxes are her hurt boxes, the dark blue ones. If it's just the light blue box, that means she's invincible, right? But there's more boxes in a way, so she's not. So in this one, if we could slow it down even more, I'm gonna frame by frame it. So you see, every time that you do a C button or square, since it's on a PlayStation, every time you do one of those, it always starts off with the move being invincible. So the move comes out in doing block strings regardless. So this move doesn't give you a whole lot of invincibility, right? But it's good enough for what it does. And when you're trying to approach, and Kathy's a character who has to be up close, so it does the trick for her because he puts a giant box of armor in front of her. Her other bullshit remedy, which isn't as good as that, it will be forward, medium, which will be triangle on a PlayStation. All dash attacks seem to be a decent bullshit answer, and this is no different for Kathy. And so this is a good tool for her to get in some situations. Not all situations. Against the volleyball character, it particularly isn't that handy, but it does do enough service for her to be something you want to keep in your repertoire. Another utility for it is that it's a wall bounce, and you can combo into it. What wall bounces mean with this wall splat rather is the special knockdown properties, and also this bullshit, the first bullshit remedy is also a knockdown property. You see, it causes that hard spiral down. These are all very valuable. So if your character has one of those that leads to a hard knockdown that deals extra damage of their defense bar, it is a good tool, and keep it in mind because it can lead to some pretty great things. In this case, the wall splat is great for Kathy because it means that they cannot tech anywhere but the wall. Normally, when you hit somebody at the wall, they could just tech out of it, right? They could tech forward, back, in place, whatever. When you hit somebody to the wall, they have to tech in place. So they tech in place at the wall. They can't go anywhere else. So it's particularly good for that because you at least pin down your opponent to one spot. You pin them down. You know where they're going to be. They cannot be anywhere else. And so it is good to just know what these properties do. One of her bullshit answers gives her that, and it allows you to just apply pressure in a different way. This one causes a knockdown to the ground. And what that means is when they're at the wall, they cannot tech it at the wall. They have to tech it at the ground, and only at the ground. And so it's good to use that as well as your combo ender. So Kathy is a unique individual. She's like one of the best characters in the game. I originally thought that she was trash, and at first it kind of seems like she is trash, but The more you know about the game, the more you realize that she's kind of broken. The other bullshit remedy would be standing counter. For the same reason as jump counter, gives you invincibility at the start, but even more so, it has a lot of, you see the armor comes in while she's still invincible, and then she puts her leg out in the mid section, extends it. It pretty much covers everything but your legs. So it's more or less just a parry for the upper body. And this game has a glitch where anytime you throw out a normal beforehand, then your counter buttons, depending on the character, are cancelable on clash. And so you can just keep clashing against multi-hitting moves with your counter button. So the Kathy on the right that's grayed out doesn't have the buff. The one on the left has the buff. You see, the one on the right could only do it one time. The one on the left was able to do it multiple times. And the buff only expires when you actually spin the meter, when you do a special move, when you do a grab, or you do a dash attack. That's another one of Kathy's great bullshit remedies. And her last bullshit remedy would be her strongest, probably the strongest in the game. Quarter circle back, heavy, up close, is probably the best bullshit handler in the game. Not because it's great for handling bullshit necessarily, in any other proximity except for being close, but because of the reward you get from it, which is a full combo. This comes out instantly. This is not, it cannot be blocked. It's unblockable. This is unblockable. It's also instant. They can't crouch it. If there's even the slightest gap in anything they do, it's just extremely fast. It's like frame one interruption. Those are Kathy's 4 bullshit remedies for you. As a matter of fact, we're gonna shift to the combo game real quick. So shifting to her combo structure, or her basic combo structure. Sure, she has an infinite on the ground. Sure, she has another infinite. But it's best, what I find with this game, the best thing is to have a basic combo pattern and to know when to cash out. That is the most essential thing, is knowing when to cash out, right? Because you could potentially leave so much damage on the table when you could just be averaging more damage overall. So Kathy's basic combo structure would just be heavy, just that right there. And you notice it builds a lot of meter each time you do it. So just heavy, dash forward, heavy, dash forward, dash forward, dash forward, dash forward, back, dash forward, back, dash forward, back, dash forward, back, dash forward, back. And once you get around 8 or 9 hits on the rush counter, then you want to start taking it to the sky, right? Taking it to the sky. And if they get the wall, you want to do medium, jump medium, heavy. Jump medium, heavy, double jump after that, medium, heavy, counter. And that sends them to a knockdown like this. Right, so they cap the tech only at the ground. So it gives you time to land, and they land at the ground because they cannot tech in the air because you sent them with that specific knockdown. Right, and you see it does a lot of damage. So this whole combo, you can't tech it. If there's like a gap, they can just air tech out the way. But if you're really tight with your combos, they can't tech it. They could tech the ground part, and they won't tech that extra ground hit. But at that point, you're already at advantage, and you can still apply pressure. So that would be Kathy's basic combo game. If you get a chance, sneak in a crouch light, stand medium, into heavy. When they get to the wall, jump medium, heavy, double jump, medium, heavy, counter. And that alone would get you up to 80% of their defense bar, which will leave you about 2 more hits to get the stun, and then you can have a chance to get a big juicy combo out of it. Let's talk about her game, which is the last point. So her general game plan would be, again, start of the round, jump, just throw this out. Just jump, throw this out. You know, if they're trying to throw out a move, kind of wait until the very last moment and then throw it out. Because then it will be almost guaranteed to snuff whatever they're doing. And if they're close to the ground, they may not be prepared to tech. So you may get that extra blue damage from the ground splat. You know? So it's always good to just start the round with the jump counter. You know? It's always good to just do that, right? And you could just get a stun just by doing this if they're just never prepared to tech. They might be scared to tech, right? They might be scared to tech. Because if they start pressing buttons and you just call them out on their bullshit, then you get a full combo by doing this. Right? So they might be scared to tech. And if you're not doing that jumping, you just want to do jump heavy because this, I believe, crosses up. Or everything's a cross up in this game, so it's just ambiguous. Yeah, something like that. If you're in the neutral, you're trying to get in close, keep in mind, jump, counter. If you're on the ground, they're throwing fireballs at you, and you can't jump the fireballs for whatever reason, make sure you get the buff real quick, whiff a light, and then time their fireballs with standing square, standing counter. Right. Just keep timing your counter button. Try not to spin it because you can dash out of it. So if they do like, right, so you don't have to spin it. As long as you don't let the animation finish, you can counter it and still maintain the buff. So just make sure that you can just maneuver through like that. If you are in a situation where you have to be on the ground or you feel that you need to be on the ground for the best case scenario. If they are jumping in the air a lot or they're like on the ground doing something like this and you feel like jumping is not a great solution for you, and you can't get in because when you get in, for whatever reason, it just snuffs you out because, you know, bullshit. Dash attacks are generally the best way to deal with this. So, you know, that's what that's for. So those are your ways to approach with Kathy. And again, her basic combo for just combo deeds would be jump heavy kick, crouch light, stand medium, into stand heavy, dash forward, stand heavy, rinse repeat. And if you're feeling spicy, her down special gives you a side switch. It's hard to combo off of that depending on the character's weight, but even better, DP motion backwards special, which will give you, if you have them pressed against the wall, you can continue with the combo, dash up and get a combo out of it. If you're quick enough. It's a command grab that does a lot of damage. If they ever whiff anything, keep that locked and loaded. Alright, and you can set this up in some cool ways. What I do is I do crouch medium, and then I buffer it in. There we go. And the lower they are on the defense bar, the more damage it's going to do. The lower your health bar, the more damage it's going to do. Activation mode, Kathy's really, I don't think she's that strong. But if you want to just damage quick, crouch special, or crouch counter into medium. Make sure you give each hit a time to breathe. A little breathing room so that the extra hits can pile up so you don't interrupt the hits. But her best damaging move would be activation down light. That right there is her most damaging move. When the extra hits get in, this is her strongest move. See how much damage it does, right? That's her strongest move. So if you can find a way to sneak down light in, you see how much damage that is. So, you know, something like that. The more down lights, the better. In a nutshell, that is Kathy, aka the wrestler. You follow this game plan and your game will elevate. Now there are more complex things for Kathy to do, right? Her big damage, right? I might as well end this on the big damage, because what would be the point if I didn't include the big damage? We're going to get her guard gauge low, and we're going to kill her, right? We're going to kill her from this point. This is even better. We're going to kill her from this point, right? You may think there's no way you can get that much damage in this game. There's a way you can get 100% damage in this game. Depending on the character is easier, and also as I mentioned before, damage scales based on how much of your blue defense bar that you have and how much health that you have. So if I have low health, the lower my character's health, the more damage I am going to do. So, and also the lower your character's health, the longer your activation is going to last while you're doing more damage. So you saw how quick that was right there, right? If your health is really low, the time is doubled, if not more than doubled. So you get triple the amount of time just about. And also you get about double the amount of damage. And if their blue gauge is low, you're also getting about double the amount of damage. And so you do the math. If you ever wanted to activate, it will be when your health is low, because then you get the most amount of time to spend it, to use it, to get the most amount of damage. And this right here, as damaging as it is right now, would do even more damage, right? It would probably, that right there, that sequence right there might have done about 80%. If my character's health were low, this would have done about 80%. But anyways, let's try to kill with what we know right now from right here. We're going to kill using this combo. Kathy has a dirty little secret where she can reset her scaling with the scaling glitch to get damage. And it's all because of that knockdown property I mentioned earlier. There we go. Oh, not quite. We didn't get the kill. Easy as pie. So all of that is a true combo. So anytime you have them in stun and you have them at the wall, always make sure that you end with a counter button, standing counter. Because if they're juggled, if they're airborne, this also has the knockdown property, right? Standing, there's no real effect, but if they're airborne, you see they start spiraling. They do the spiral, that means that they can only tech at the ground. But because they are stunned, they are unable to tech. And the way this game works is the higher your combo counter, the rush counter is, the quicker it is to dispel. And when it dispels, that means that the scaling on your combo damage will reset. However, because of the ground bounce, it makes them, instead of what would normally happen is they will be invulnerable. They will fall out of the combo. That one moment where they hit the ground, they are again open to being hit because of the ground hits them. So at that exact moment, you will hit them again, and Kathy is able to command grab them back up. And so she picks them back up and they are still stunned. The combo damage, the scaling resets, and you can continue to juggle. So that's the basic concept of this. is we get the spiral around the 10th hit. The 10th hit specifically. The closer you are to the 10th hit, it can reset technically at 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit. It'll just take longer. So if you get it up to 10, it's more within your juggle needs, within your juggle time frame. So 10 hits is what I usually stick to. Unless you can send them extremely high, then you could probably end it earlier. But 10 hits is kind of the golden mark, which it ends relatively quick. And so it allows this to work very, very nicely. And we can even activate doing this. Right, so you just wanted to kill them even faster. So that's just the basic concept. You see how much damage this is. Right. Right. That's a quick 80% damage combo when you have them at the wall. Not hard to do. The hardest thing is knowing the structure. The hardest thing is knowing the structure. And that's the main thing with this game, is you need to know the structure of which to do things. It's like solving a riddle. There is execution, but it's more of a mental game of navigating through the maze more than anything, finding how the game even works. And so that's a quick Kathy 80% damage combo. Technically it's 100% damage combo, but it also varies depending on where the blue gauge is. But you saw this combo, you know, that does a lot of blue gauge within itself, even without the ground splatted hit. Right, that's a quick 50% on the blue gauge just about, and that's like directly at the wall. You're more than likely be starting around here, anywhere on the screen, and forces them in one spot that they cannot move out of. They cannot tech away from this wall at any given time. Use it. It's beneficial for you to pin them down and know that you've cornered a fly. Because in this game, movement is everywhere. It's everywhere and it's abundant. Being able to limit where your opponent can go is a godsend. If your character has it, don't write it off. And last but not least, her final bullshit remedy, quarter circle back heavy. Quarter circle back heavy. Anytime they're doing block pressure, if there's any gap whatsoever, for even the slightest moment, can lead you to getting potentially the kill. So cast Kathy in a nutshell. Now go out there, wreak some havoc. Tell anybody you're playing against that ITOwl sends you to be a menace to society. And with that, I bid you further adieu. Be sure to leave in the comments if there's a specific character that you want to be coming up sooner than later. Eventually, I hope to cover them all, but again, interaction is always good. So I will bid y'all further adieu. I hope you enjoyed and found this video to be informative. Catch y'all on the flip side. May peace be with. Always keep your heads up. Deuces, dos, bos, adios, stay cool. And if you like this content, be sure to show some love. But always be sure to show that love to the people who matter to you. This is ITOwl bidding you farewell, peace, much love, and stay cool. Deuces.